So I'm going to go ahead and share my window again, just so that you can all just see what we're talking about with the entire screen curriculum. So I know that all of you have seen this already, but just for a quick review, we'll do like a tour of the folder itself. So when you click on there, and you're all very familiar, but for those that aren't, oh, wrong one. Drops curriculum. Here we go. So you'll go in and you'll see folders with some of the lessons, but the one thing that you would review first is the Drops Curriculum Living document. So you can go ahead and look into that document and see how all of these activities are aligned to different standards. And they're even aligned to the school, what do they call the learning goals or the objectives? And so I know those are a little bit outdated right now, but they haven't changed much, and we can always update those if needed. But we've linked them all to NGSS standards and the APE standards, and I think some of you even suggested that we link them to earth science and other science classes as well. So thank you for that. That's really helpful. So after you review that, you can go ahead and go into those folders and look at the lessons. So for example, we put together a leaf anthology lesson, but more specifically, we actually put together PowerPoint presentations for the water quality lesson. So if you want to continue, which I encourage, if you want to continue doing water monitoring with the features, and if for some reason we're not available to come to your classroom in time when you want to do this, you can actually go ahead and just access our presentation through this folder and give it yourself. And if you need pointers or have notes or anything like that, please let us know, and we're happy to make edits or to let you know or give you more information on this. For example, we don't have speaker notes on here, but we're more than happy to add those if you need them and if you want them. There's also one of my favorite lessons, which we specifically made for Drops because we don't have any other program like this, which is the Intro to the LID lesson. And so we also have a presentation on Google Presentations for that lesson. So here's that. I don't know that any of you have used this yet, but it's really cool, and we're more than happy, Coastkeeper is more than happy to come to your schools at the beginning of the year next year to present this, just to make sure that students are still aware of what these features are and what they do. It goes through and defines what LID means, why they work and how they work. It also defines some important terms like what a bioswale is and things like that. And then it gives tons of other great examples of where else they are used in the world. So that's really cool. It's always good to link this to the real world for the students. The other thing that's in here that's really extensive and really cool is the infiltration and LID lab. So this is another one that, again, it has tons of, using our data, how we can figure out how effective our LID features are actually being, so in capturing runoff and infiltrating it. So if you have any questions about this lesson, because it is a lesson that we used outside sources, but then also used the specific Drops program and features to create the lesson and modify it, please let us know. And we are happy to give more information. Okay, so now back to that Drops Curriculum Living document. So as we scroll through, you can see the table of contents, everything there that you need. If you are, if you have a certain NGSS standard that you're looking for activities to link to that standard, you can always use this as a reference. It is all related to watersheds, water quality, and low impact design, but there are also a few other lessons in here. For example, the Project Wet lessons that are more broad and can be used for different things. So here are the standards. And in red, you can see specifically how they are linked to our program. And if you keep scrolling, so here are the Earth Science Standards, Common Core Standards, APES. I know for all of you that's very important. And here is, so the single plan for student achievement. So you can see these are a little bit outdated, but they haven't changed much. And again, we can update these if your school or if the district requires it. If you want to continue to use this curriculum, but they want us to update it, we're more than happy to do that, because even after this project concludes, this is still a really good resource for us to keep using. It's already there. We might as well use it. So here are the Project WET activities. So unfortunately, the Project WET activities, you do need access to the curriculum, and you can only get access to that curriculum if you attend a Project WET workshop. They are free, usually most of the time, and then you leave with the giant book.
Yeah, I bought
Do you have that? Do you have it?
Yeah. You can get it online.
Oh, cool. So you can even purchase it. Awesome. But if you want it for free, you can actually go to one of these trainings. And this is outdated. I will have to let them know and ask them for their more updated workshop calendar. So I know that water districts will sometimes sponsor these. And if I hear of any, I'll go ahead and forward them to you all. But for now, Coastkeeper does have access to that curriculum, and we're more than happy to loan it to you or even come into your class and help you with the lessons. There's a bunch of really great ones, and they even, again, let you know exactly which standards they are linked to. And it has everywhere from middle school all the way to high school. So if you have friends in the district, teachers in the district that you think might want to use this or that ask you about it, please feel free to share it. We want everyone to be able to use this. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to scroll a little bit down because we actually also have write-ups on here for specifically some of the lessons that we provided. And again, linking them to standards. So these are all the Project WET ones, but if we keep scrolling, here's another one on, so this is also where we put the miscellaneous lessons that we found that weren't necessarily part of a curriculum in itself, but that were out there for reference. We went ahead and summarized them and put them in this living document. This is, again, it's living. So if you have any comments or if you would like any changes made, all you have to do is leave a comment on the Google Doc and we can get to it and help you out with that. So, for example, the Unit 4 Urban Landscapes and Water Use, that's one that we found online. There's also the LID one that we found online. And then it also has one of my favorite things, which is a glossary. I don't know if you guys had a chance to scan through that. But here it is, all the way down here, all the way. Again, did a lot of research to find all these things. And we are slowing down. Why is this taking forever? Bear with me. We're getting there. Eventually. Scroll. Yeah, okay, here we go. So here are all the key words. These are all what I like to call the key drops words. Anything that we could think of that we thought could use some explanation or some definition, it's all here. So you could even take these or take the ones that you'd like and use them in your classrooms. Especially, maybe not for the 8th students, but for biology or things like that. These are all great. And then again, here are the miscellaneous videos that we found helpful that could relate to our program. Everything from the water cycle to Freddie the Fish teaches about stormwater management to examples of other LID and projects in other areas. In Riverside, for example, they have a really cool, I wish we could have visited, that was one of the field trips that we had proposed, but they have a really awesome building it's a LEED building and it has all sorts of LID features all around it. Yeah, maybe in the future when we continue this program, we will be able to do that. But then because a lot of our features work to recharge our groundwater, we also have a video on groundwater, recharging aquifers, and then locally, how water works in Orange County, which I know, Janine, you said that you might use that before you visit the actual sanitation district, which is awesome. And then the EPA's National Stormwater Calculator. So that's really cool. And we provided these direct links because we wanted to make sure some of these things will get moved on websites. And so we wanted to make sure that you're still able to access those if and when they do move. If for some reason some of these links don't work anymore, please let us know. We tried to go in, especially on these government websites, we tried to go in and we screenshotted everything that was on there just in case it disappeared. Because some of it has actually, like on the EPA website, a lot of the climate change things are gone. So yeah, they expire and they don't get updated. So, and then there's an index. So if you reviewed this and you're like, oh geez, I wonder, where this was in the curriculum, go ahead and go to the index and you can find it there. So are there any questions so far just about the DROPS curriculum living document?
Not about the document. Are you taking more questions later, Diana?
I will be taking more questions later. So yeah, let me go back to our, where'd it go? Yeah, our agenda here. So we've done the tour of the curriculum folder, the tour of the curriculum file. So we talked about the Project WET. Again, if you don't have access, contact Coastkeeper, the miscellaneous resources, the glossary, the video links. If we go back to that folder, you can also see things that you've added. So, Jared, thank you. You added the student survey resources. We also have the assembly guidebook that was put together the first time we did those assemblies, which is super helpful because I know that was kind of a learning curve. But now there's a guidebook, and again, we're more than happy to help with those. I think the assemblies are a great way to inform the whole school of these programs and these features that I think would be a great thing to share. And, to continue to do those if we can, or even Earth Day assemblies or sustainable career fairs and things like that. Okay, so we can actually, I think, now that we've done that, move on to questions. So do either of you or any of you have questions about the curriculum or about the program or how we can help, anything like that?
I haven't looked through all the lessons. I took a look at some, but I was actually curious as you were going through them. Do you know of any of them that require extra materials, or are all these lessons kind of package deal with text and online resources?
Yeah, so we tried to find ones that didn't require too many extra materials. I know the soil lab, obviously you'll need, just some standard materials that you hopefully already have in your classroom. The water quality lab, those, of course, you already have the kits, but you might need refills for your water quality kits. We could provide those. So there's not to say that there's an unlimited supply, but Coastkeeper does water monitoring all year long with our Whales program. And so if you run out of those refills and you'd still like to do monitoring, we're more than happy to hand you a packet or two. So just let us know.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone?
Do you remember the woman, she was from the Metropolitan Water District last year, and she did the virtual tour of the Colorado riverbed?
Oh, cool,
Do you remember her?
I don't know her. I don't remember her name specifically, but I know of that program. I can definitely add that. Christine, if you don't mind writing that down, I'll add that to our curriculum.
For free. I mean, and it was really, you can't go, well, we can't go there.
Right.
So it was really neat. And it only took like 20 minutes, after school.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's a great point. I didn't actually think of that when we were creating this curriculum, to provide resources for guest speakers or other people that you could contact to come to your school to provide lessons like these. So that's a great idea. We can actually go ahead and if we find those, as we find those, we'll add those to the living document.
I think she was from the Metropolitan Water District.
It's either MODOC or the Orange County Water District. They both do similar. I know the Orange County Water District does a virtual tour of like Prado Dam and the Santa Ana River. But the Colorado one, yeah, I'd have to check specifically, or it was either MODOC or the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. I think that's what it was.
That could be.
Yes,
yes,
it's
okay.
them. Yeah, and I do have a contact there, so I'll
Okay.
go ahead and ask them. Cool.
All right, Diana. Currently at BOLSA, we're trying to promote a real cross-curricular program going on here. Do you find that the lessons are accessible by other subject areas? I mean, I obviously the standards are all science in there, but seeing as how not a lot of materials are required, have you seen or heard of other subject areas getting involved with these?
Yeah, so that's actually something that we highly encourage. So although these are directly linked to science standards, we also did start working on, and we can continue working on this, linking it to other subjects. So for example, we talked about how students in art classes or in the statistic classes could figure out how these LID features work and how much water is being infiltrated. And there are definitely lessons that can be translated over to different subject matters. For example, if you have a journalism class or even just a regular English class, they can write articles about what it means to have these features at your school, comparing them to those that are out in the real world as well, not just in school. So yeah, I definitely think that this is a good opportunity to get the students more involved, specifically with their school, building school pride, and also just getting them more involved. So yeah, we can always brainstorm more ideas as well. So please feel free again to share this with other teachers at your school. And if they have any questions or if they'd like to see something added to it, we'd love to do that. Yeah, the more this gets used, the better.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other questions, Terry, or anybody else?
That sounds great. I'm impressed. What you guys did.
Yay! Awesome. Well, it's 3:20 now. We're scheduled to go until 3:30, but if we don't have any other questions, I guess we can end early. Oh, Thelma's here. Thelma?
Oh, okay. If she comes on.
Oh, hi. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute.
Oh, okay, great. Do you have any questions, Thelma?
I don't. This is fantastic.
Yay! Okay, so we have 6
together.
participants, and then we have Janine here in person. We'll all have her sign in.
Cool.
Yeah, and then so we can go ahead, and I'm also screen recording this, so we can go ahead and save this for the website as well.
Wonderful, which is now live. I'll send everybody that link soon.
Great. Okay, well, thank you all again so much.
Okay, thanks, Diana.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Perfect timing because my computer is about to die.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.